It hasn't happened in more than 200 years, but it wouldn't surprise some geologists if it happened tonight. The Rose Canyon Fault. Our science editor, Brian Hackney, has flown over every foot of it. We were talking, of course, about movement in that fault, severe movement in that fault.
That's the big question, too. You've heard about it, and you may, without knowing it, live right on top of it. Tonight, you'll find out as we take you on a tour of San Diego's most notorious fault.
It begins somewhere down here. Beneath the Pacific, a fracture in the earth splits the most expensive landscape in the county. Above La Jolla, north of the Cove, with Mount Soledad in the background, the Rose Canyon Fault at left and the Mount Soledad Fault at right emerge from the ocean and push east. The Mount Soledad Fault skirts million-dollar homes near the hilltop, just missing the Easter Cross as the fault plunges into the valley. And as Mission Bay appears at right, the fault zone passes directly under Interstate 5 near the 52 exit.
Mile 6 of the Rose Canyon Fault. I-5 to the right, Tecolote Road approaching. The fault parallels Morena Boulevard and heads for downtown. On the ground, one of the few places the faults can be seen this close to the city. In Tecolote Park, behind the left center field fence, 50-million-year-old sandstone, side by side with half-million-year-old conglomerate. The fault line divides the two. And just above me, homes with people in them who have no idea they're living right on top of the Rose Canyon Fault.
Well, I lived there since 1955.
And you never heard of it?
I never heard of a fault coming through here.
This lady is not alone. By the time we reach Mile 9, we've passed above more than 1,000 buildings. These are near Washington Street and Pacific Highway, the earth deep underneath, straining north and south at perhaps 1/10 of an inch a year. The strain has produced adjacent faults. One along Florida Street has lifted University Avenue 65 feet. Another related fault, the La Nacion, cuts under Highway 94 in East San Diego. Further north, it parallels 54th Street, with land being raised on the east side and lowered on the west. With some imagination, waves could be lapping at the doors of Jackson Elementary in thousands of years. They are all offshoots of the fault that ends by plunging into the bay it created. Passing by the city, it could devastate.
You know, it was just a few years ago, nobody was too terribly concerned about the Rose Canyon Fault Zone. Everybody thought it was completely dormant, but things have changed. Some geologists now believe it's an active fault capable of producing the most damaging earthquake imaginable in San Diego. There's by no means agreement on that, and we'll show you why. There's a lot of controversy about this tomorrow night.
In the past, everything is focused, on the San Andreas Fault.
Yeah, well, you know, most of the earthquakes that have caused damage here are distant earthquakes, and there is no historical record of a big earthquake on the Rose Canyon Fault, but they have happened. The question is, where are we in the earthquake cycle? We'll talk about that tomorrow.
All right,
thank you, Brian.